Of course. Just a day later, I'm going to get tested. So yesterday, Atlanta Motor Speedway changes their name to Echo Park Speedway. And today, Trackhouse Racing has failed the test. Look at this announcement. Look at this. We are adding Atlanta and Watkins Glen to Connor Zilich's Cup Series schedule. He'll drive the number 87 Red Bull Chevy again at both races this summer. I'm sorry, where in Watkins Glen? Sorry, where's Atlanta? Which track is... I've never heard of this place. We haven't raced there since February of 2025. All those months ago. That track hasn't existed in forever. Okay, guys, I'm joking, obviously. But yes, Connor Zilisch, the young, I think he's still 18 years old, highly rated prospect in NASCAR, is adding a couple more NASCAR Cup Series races to his schedule. He made his Cup Series debut this season at the Circuit of the Americas. Of course, Zilisch has a strong background in road racing. He has had a lot of success on the road, even in his NASCAR career, with a couple of Xfinity wins, including that weekend at Circuit of the Americas in March. But the point being, he made his Cup Series debut at COTA. He was added to the Red Bull sponsorship, like he has a personal deal with Red Bull, as does other Trackhouse driver Shane Van Gisbergen. But Zilisch has this deal with Red Bull. It was announced during or before the season that Red Bull would return to NASCAR, sponsor SVG, and sponsor Zilisch. But at the time, it was only announced that Zilisch would have a full primary race in the Cup Series at COTA. Since then, it was announced that he would run at the Coca-Cola 600, which he did, in a Red Bull car. Well, now Red Bull is going to sponsor 2 more races for Zilisch. As I said, Red Bull comes back to NASCAR, sponsoring 2 different drivers, 2 different cars. We just saw Red Bull at Nashville. We've seen it at Vegas. It seems like they're back into NASCAR, it's safe to say, more than just, 3 races or something. But they have invested in these guys. They have had a previous relationship with SVG. That's a completely different thing. But they have invested into Connor Zilisch. Remember, as I said, only 18 years old. So they are making a pretty big investment into Connor Zilisch, into his career with this deal. And now it's expanded beyond just sponsoring his first Cup start, beyond just the personal deal, where he wears a Red Bull hat around, carries a Red Bull drink around. Beyond that, they are doing more with him as they expand his starts. Connor Zilisch said, "So stoked, 2 awesome tracks I get to experience in the Cup car with Red Bull." Now remember, last year at Watkins Glen, Zilisch was in an Xfinity car and he won that race. So Zilisch has previous experience at Watkins Glen. He's got previous experience in the next-gen car. And remember at COTA, he had some competitive speed. He qualified 14th. He ended up crashing out of that race, was involved in a couple of incidents, not of his fault, but in that small window that the car was fixed up, the car was to his liking, he was putting down competitive lap times, really good lap times. So going to Watkins Glen, it's going to be, I think he's going to have a great opportunity to have a competitive result. We know how good he is on the road courses. He's going to be in a good car. I think a top 10 is possible. I'm not going to sit here and stretch it and tell you, he's going to win the race, but I think he's going to be really competitive at Watkins Glen. Atlanta, we'll see. It's going to be his first super speedway race in a next-gen car. At this point of his career, I think everything's a learning experience for Connor Zilisch. Even Watkins Glen, a track he's been to, I even think that's going to be a learning experience in a sense. Because he's so young, he has so much to learn. He's only been in the Cup car twice, on a road course once. Every little thing he does is learning. I will add this note, though. I'm probably overthinking this situation. I overthink a lot and just bringing things up just to bring things up. But remember last year with Trackhouse, Shane Van Gisbergen, before the season when he had that colleague deal, it was announced that I think he was doing 8 to 10 Cup races at the time. But in early August, they announced, hey, we're going to expand SVG's schedule the rest of this year. We're really going to push for him to have all these Cup races. And they added Martinsville, Darlington, Atlanta, somewhere else on the schedule. the Roval maybe. I don't know. They added a bunch of races to his schedule, and then just a couple of weeks later, they announced, hey, by the way, you know how we did all that? Announced that he's doing a bunch of races? It's because we're getting him ready for next year when he's full-time Cup. Remember, we talked about it last week. Trackhouse is in a situation again where they have to put 3 guys into 2 seats, where they're going to have to make that ultimate difficult decision. So they're adding races to Zilich's schedule. Is this kind of a test in a sense to see, we're putting him on different ovals. Let's see how he does at a road course again. And once he gets a clean race, is this a test to kind of see, is he ready? If we give him more races and he shows and proves to us he's ready, is it time right now? Now, once again, I'm going to say what I said last week. I don't want to see them, Trackhouse, rush up Zilisch to the Cup Series if they think the best option is to keep SVG and Daniel Suarez in the car one more year before potentially moving Zilisch up. I think that's great. I think another year in the Xfinity Series could be great for him to learn. He's actually been doing really well in the Xfinity Series this year. I think he's 5th in points. He has a few top 5s, including back-to-back runner-up finishes in the Xfinity Series at Nashville and Charlotte. So he's learning the ovals. He's actually doing pretty solid. He finished 23rd in the Coke 600 a few weeks ago, even though he was involved in an incident there as well. So he's actually proven that he's a good all-around driver, and I think we know that. There's a reason he's such a highly rated prospect. But my thing is, I don't want to see him get rushed to Cup, but what if this is kind of Trackhouse's way of testing, by adding races to his schedule, testing to see, is he ready to make the next step up? Or we're going to give him a chance to prove that he's ready potentially next year. So once again, Trackhouse is in that situation. There's no updates on it, but I'm just bringing that up, that what if they are adding these races? Or what if this is just add some races because at some point he's going to get there. He needs as much experience as he can get, even if they're not thinking we're elevating him next year. This is just hey, let's get him some experience. Once again, I'm probably overthinking this. Connor Zilisch has added 2 races to his schedule. He will be racing at Watkins Glen, a track that I would assume he's going to be pretty competitive at. And of course, Trackhouse is very good at the road courses. All 3 of their full-time drivers have won at a road course with Trackhouse. And then we have Echo Park Speedway. Definitely wasn't about to say Atlanta Motor Speedway. That place doesn't exist anymore. But for real, though, Connor Zilisch, he's got a couple more Cup races on his schedule. We'll see if they end up doing more. Obviously, got to situate the Trackhouse situation. Who's going to be in there next year? But we got Michigan this upcoming weekend. Should be a fun weekend. We got the Cup Series and the Truck Series. So I'm looking forward to it. Any other news, I will let you guys know.